everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus against all freaking odds. How did we do it? We got a win. Amazing. Magnificent. 1QZC, B6ZE. Look at these average stats. I have no complaints. This is like the most average start you could ever ask for. So we got the D10, which is, you know, don't shoot the messenger. Useless. We got Polydactyl, which is like, you know, inert. We got slightly over 1 speed. We got 10 rate of fire. We got 3.5 damage, roughly. This is, you could not ask for a more average run than this. As a result, you cannot ask for a happier man than this. Now, let's see. Let's see how useless it truly is. Because, I gotta tell you, I think we is a little bit better than useless in this situation right here. I think we got a pretty good value. What do you got going? We still got some spiders. We got some spider creators. It's alright. Nothing to fear. Ain't nothing good in the hood. I'd run away from this place and never come back if I could. 50 cent in the game. Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top. Ooh, you know what? We would take advantage of wait what. So does this, really you can just do this as many times as is necessary, and I'm going to do it 10 times. So that's 3. There you go. Wait what? Unlimited sword of bombs. Not particularly good. Or let me rephrase, because I think people get offended by my my opinion on wait what. But wait what is a victim of great salesmanship, because whenever people describe it, they go unlimited bombs, and it kind of is, but they are limited. I mean, they're rate limited, which is frustrating if you're looking for DPS. Now, I would never suggest that in any way, shape, or form this is a bad item. But I just think it's a little, just a little bit overrated. Not even like a lot overrated. Just the teensy bit benefiting from its incredible tagline. You know, in the same way that, like, does Geico actually provide the best car insurance? I don't know. But they got that cute lizard helping them hit above their weight class. Head down to the next floor. I'm willing to put in a little bit of extra time, of course, to hopefully ensure that what happened to us on the last run does not happen again. Because that last run, if we have a 50-minute Isaac run in the year 2019, something has gone horrendously awry. We get those runs literally like, I would say once every 3 months we have a run approaching that level, that time duration. So, you know, we won, but it was never really like we needed a Hail Mary to save us, but it was also, I mean, we were right on the margins of victory for a long time there. Anyway. It's Isaac. We got 3 HP. We got half a Spirit Heart. We got okay stats. This is the most average start you could ever ask for. In a good way. After the last run, at least. Again, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel for anecdotes. I gotta do it. This is please. Sir, just one grocery store anecdote, I beg you. I'm living this boring, relatively boring, like, no-life situation. Storing video, for the Japan trip. And, you know, I'm looking at my schedule, and I'm like, it's going well. We're not going to miss, well, we might miss, like, 1 or 2 videos, literally, but, like, that's pretty good when you got, you know, 4 or 5 active series, you're going away for a week. You know, and it took a couple of weeks concerted effort to get to that point, obviously, but it's a privilege to be able to do so. I don't know if I've said that 100 times already. Dude, I'm stoked that we got Small Rock. I didn't even mention it. It's very good. Already a run that's more powerful than our previous. 4 minutes and 30 seconds in. Let's go find our item room first. But yeah, you know, let me basic gist of it. Wake up, go to the gym, record, rinse, repeat, check the calendar. Friday's 2 days away. Check the YouTube video manager. What have I got and what do I need to have? And then just, you know, repeat as necessary. Yo! Repeat as necessary until we get where we need to go. We get where we need to go. Yo, Rune Bag is also great. Okay, so the game clearly, you know, let me just say, apology accepted. It felt bad that it put me in a, you know, such a tricky situation on the last run. Really appreciate the fact that it's made me, I would say well more than halfway right now. The highlight, well, not highlight, but, you know, the only stories you can get are gym stories, but it's like, it's the middle of May right now, and, you know, I can't really, you know, I'm not like an old hand in the gym, you know? I'm not somebody who's been going there for years. Oh, no, watch out, it's New Year's resolution season. Wow, the gym's so busy. I can't be like that, but, you know, we're in the middle of May right now. I think we definitely want it. It's pretty dang empty in the gym right now. It's just me, and then, like, you know, I don't know. There's people who do some weird, like, cross-training stuff in the gym. I don't really care. Like, I didn't realize CrossFit was a meme until recently. They're always doing this weird stuff where they do, like, push-ups while they sit on each other, and then immediately after getting up from the push-ups, they, like, you know, put a resistance band around each other and, you know, do this weird, like, potato sack race across the entire gym. And mostly, like, as long as they're not getting in the way, I don't mind. I don't mean, like, I know it sounds like, oh, what, they can't get in your way? But, like, I mean, when you're taking up 80% of the real estate of the gym like they are, you know, it's a valid concern, I think. I like to stay in my own little corner. And so it's like them, and then there's, like, one, like, college kid who comes down there, and he's like, he jumps on the exercise bike for like 5 minutes while he FaceTimes his friend, and then just sort of like walks around taking selfies. I don't know, dude. Like, I don't want to. It's hard to criticize it because I don't want to be one of these like, oh, kids these days sort of guys. I always see people online, they complain about like, I was at the gym and I wanted to use a machine, but this this stupid lady was just standing at the machine using her phone. Like, well, what are you supposed to do when you're resting between sets? Just stare straight ahead? Why don't you just ask if you can, you know, use it in between their working sets, you weird? Anyway, the point is, I don't know, my man's doing, you know, 30 reps of FaceTime 3 times a week. I hope it works out for him. But there's no other anecdotes. Got very little for you, you know? Maybe today, I gotta start manufacturing anecdotes. Start, you know, walking around the downtown east side at 2 a.m. I'll come back with some freaking anecdotes. The downtown east is a neighborhood. It's like Vancouver's Tenderloin. Vancouver's, you know, Skid Row is kind of like, I don't know if it's a term that's considered a little bit offensive, but you know what I mean, I'm sure. I guess we will re-roll a thing, and then not really get that much out of it to begin with. And it's not, I know you're like, it's Canada, how bad could it be? Well, it's not like, here's the thing. I tell people, you know, when they come to Vancouver, you're extremely safe. Basically, no matter where you are. There's one exception. If you're out at the, you know, the skeezy bars on Granville Street, which is like the main underage drinking district, and also out of town drinking district, and you know, you're mouthing off at like 2 a.m., someone might punch you in the face. I don't say that from experience. There's just a lot of news stories about, like, it was 3 a.m. and people got punched in the face. So, you know, that's one situation. You know, you just gotta kind of, you know, recognize if you don't put yourself in that situation, you're gonna raise your odds of not being in trouble. But, you know, you're extremely safe no matter where. I would tell you, you know, if you had no other option, you could walk through the whole city at 4 a.m. and nobody would even talk to you. But if you leave a quarter in your car's cup holder, don't be surprised if somebody smashes your window and takes it. Your property is not safe. I'm sorry to say, because I love the city, but you know, there's drug problems and a lot of petty crime. You know, our car got broken into in a locked parking garage. I don't even, still to this day, I don't know how the heist went down. What did they steal? They stole the SD card with our navigation on it. They stole a 2x2 Rubik's Cube. They stole our dash cam, which was probably like $60. Not that big of a deal. And they, the most annoying thing for me is they stole my Rubik's Cube, but they left my Japandroid CD. That's just, it's 2 insults. The first insult is, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fence that Rubik's Cube? Let's be reasonable. That's, the 2x2 Rubik's Cube, we gonna sell it to a pawn shop or something for 30 cents? It doesn't make any sense to me. But secondly, the CD is worth something. And then when you don't take it, it's almost like you broke into my vehicle and you're like, ugh, end what prosaic musical tastes. You hear stories like all the time here. People are like, you know, I left a magazine in my car and, you know, when I came back, it was crazy. Oh no, we got marked. You know, my window was smashed. I don't do this because I find that, you know, the criminals win. But that was a really bad George W. Bush impression. What some people do is they'll, like, leave their cars unlocked and then open their glove compartment and, like, empty out, like, basically all possessions from their car to show that there's nothing in it. So it's basically, like, it's like a harm reduction style. You're basically like, hey, I recognize, like, I'm not like normal marks. I'm a cool mark. Check it out. I got nothing in my car. And, you know, does it work? I don't know, because I just feel like, you know, at some point, if you have to, you know, show people you have nothing to steal, then, I mean, it's just sort of, like, sad. It's just sort of like, I would rather, you know, have my car get a Rubik's Cube stolen out of it now and then. But I understand the point of it is, like, you know, if they're gonna break into your car anyway, you might as well, well, there goes copy said. If they're gonna break into your car anyway, why don't you minimize the amount of harm it'll do to you by, like, making sure it's unlocked so that people aren't gonna smash your window, or, you know, you get the idea. Making yourself less of a target to begin with, which makes sense. I can accept that. Steven. That's another Yera. I'd rather have Black Rune for now, but if we can use it, then so be it. Even better. Anyway. There's also the weird thing where, like, online, and this is just the nature of online discourse nowadays, and that's fine. I don't mind it this way that much, because as I've mentioned many times, you know, it keeps you, it makes you more aware of what you're saying. Yo, so we're Guppy, which is awesome. Get this out here. More damage. Love to see it. Let's go back for that Yera rune. Easy wins. But, like, you know, if you make, like, a joke about, you know, your car getting broken into, you're the bad guy because you made a joke at the expense of somebody who needed to rob you to, you know, buy something. It's been frustrating. It's like, you know, how dare you have the audacity to have your car get broken into and act like that's an inconvenience? Well, there's social problems out there that have led to this situation to begin with. You know what? Maybe I'll break into your Ford Focus. It's not like it doesn't have that many problems to begin with. And I'll take your Rubik's Cube and see how you feel about it. Oh, well, you can't be mad about it until you solve, you know, the wealth gap. Look, you just, you gotta let people be upset about the stuff that is, you know, upsetting and inconvenient. Let's see if that's a Perth row, because I don't really need... Yo! I don't really need the Charm of the Vampire, but you know what? Yeah, there you go. I'd rather have a penny. Or 2 Charm of the Vampires. Now, I recognize what I said paints Vancouver as like a property dystopia. It's not like if you turn your head for 2 seconds. I think we should try to double this to get free shop items. It's not like if you turn your head for 2 seconds, you're gonna lose, you know, the bag you're holding on to. But I mean, I remember when I was in San Francisco for the first time, I was hanging out with a friend of mine. We got off at one of the BART stations, and I was using my phone, and he was like, "Yo, you should use your phone with 2 hands here." And I was like, "Ha ha ha!" And he's like, "I'm not joking." So, you know, a lot of cities, you know, they got kind of a similar thing going on. I would never, if someone in Vancouver was like, "You should use 2 hands on your phone here," I'd be like, "Are you crazy?" That being said, San Francisco also a beautiful city. You just gotta, you know, it's a city you gotta be aware of the situation. I mean, when we were in New York, I mean, these are all, you know, big North American cities, so they're kind of, you know, I'm not gonna say they're cut from the same cloth. It was like 4:30 a.m. We were waiting for an Uber, and a couple of dudes came. There was like 8 of us. A couple of dudes came over and started talking to us and being like, "Oh, you're waiting for an Uber, huh? Like, you're all taking an Uber together?" I was like, "Hey guys, we're just gonna go. Like, see you later." It just got you get a little like a city vibe, right? Is when no, normal people don't strike up conversations about like, "Hey, are you gonna be alone at 4:30 in the morning?" You know, on a random street corner in New York City. At least, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's like, "Hey, that's a New York tradition." He was gonna offer to split your Uber with you. That's okay. You just got to give off the vibe of like, excuse me, sir, I see you're trying to murder me. I'm here to let you know that won't be happening today. I'm wise to the ruse you're trying to put down, my friend. I've been attempted murdered many times before in my life, and they didn't get me before, they're not gonna get me today. So, sorry, we have... My doubling didn't work. I was in the middle of a tangent, and my brain wasn't adding new information back. Dude, I mean, let's see if we get a deal with the devil. We didn't, so I'm gonna double. Yo, we're getting terrible luck. But the thing is, 2nd level cube of meat is garbage. So I would rather, like, skip it to try to get the 3rd level cube of meat. Dry baby, on the other hand, you know, 1 dry baby, 7 out of 10. 2 dry babies, 7.1. Dry baby is like dinner, you know? Every dinner you add on top of the dinner you just ate is worth less. You know? If you're hungry, how much do you want 1 dinner? Like an 8 out of 10. How much do you want 2 dinners? Like about the same. Cube of meat? That's like, you know, equity. Every bit means, you know, roughly the same as that which preceded it, I think. I don't know. The metaphor is... You're not always going to have a good metaphor, but we're working on it. Okay. Okay. Pair throw. Okay. Ooh, the world card. Now we're cooking. We have so much time. We absolutely should... Forget the pills, dude. We don't have that much time. I mean, we have that much time in this run, but I don't know if we have that much time in our life, you know? Life's too short to be wasting it taking unknown medicinals. This might... I probably won't do boss rush, and I'll tell you. My philosophy on boss rush has changed a lot. Used to do it now and then. Now, there's only like 1 unique Venn diagram situation in which I want to do it. Well, 2. 1 is I teleport. Wow. 1 is I teleport, and the other one is I'm so strong that I can do it easily, but also, and this is where the danger comes in, or the unlikelihood comes in. I'm so strong I can do it easily, but also the item that I get makes me so much stronger that it's worth it. You know, it's one of those things. I played so much dang Isaac in my life, dude. It's not that I'm tired of the game. It's just that I've reached the point where I understand for myself what's most important. You know, what's most important is not the respect of my peers for subjecting myself to the hush and delirium fights as often as possible. What's most important for me is, you know, the run and the flow chart of the run as it leads up to those aspects. You know, little bit of integrated Zane whenever possible, whenever prudent, and sometimes imprudent, but the bomb, let's be honest, we're shooting flies out of our face. What do we need a bomb for? Now, I'm pretty sure it took us more than 18 minutes to do the chest on our last run, so the fact that it took us 18 minutes to get through the first 6 floors here has got me feeling pretty strong. We haven't had a strong run in a little while. Okay, I mean, Magic Mush is great, but I don't... As good as it is, and I'm gonna get in trouble with Sinvicta's item tournament bracket here, but as good as it is, I don't think it reaches the point of also being necessary here. Let me put it this way. Here's how I see Isaac. When you multiply, you know, let's just say 7 times 4. Do you, well, we should take a 2-digit number. If you were to multiply, you know, 13 by 8, and you've done it 1,000 times, like you can just do it for yourself. You know it's 104. Do you really want to go through the trouble of writing it down? And I remember all the algorithms they taught you in 6th grade. You know, you multiply the bottom right number by the number directly above it. Then you go down a column, you put a 0, you multiply that number by the number just to the left of the number you originally multiplied it by. Then you add the 2 numbers together. You know, like those is very helpful, don't get me wrong. And to learn the process of doing it is extremely important. But at some point, if you got it, you feel like showing your work is a little bit, I don't want to say beneath you, but you've done it so many times before, it seems imprudent. You know what I mean? By the way, I'll teach you the same thing. I'm not particularly adept at mental arithmetic, you know, compared to, you know, John Nash or something like that, but, and Slay the Spire puts that into perspective for sure, but a lot of people are like, how'd you do that? Well, it's the easiest thing in the world. Cameron, is it the distributive property? Something like that. My dad taught it to me on a drive once, and I'll never forget. It was a great methodology. So you got 7 times 17, okay? That's really just adding 2 different products together. So 7 times 17 is just 7 times 7 plus 7 times 10. And you can check the math for that if you feel like I've lost my mind. So everybody knows 7 times 7, you know, it's 49. What's 7 times 10? That's easy. 70. Then you got to do 70 plus 49. You get to 119. Now, if somebody said to you, what's 7 times 17? And you went, 114. There's a good chance they're going to be impressed, because a lot of multiplication that people know is just from memory. But it's honestly, you know, you can take your skill of multiplying, you know, 2 1-digit numbers together, or up to the 11 times tables, for example, and you can turn that into something even more impressive very, very easily, as with that method right there. And it really, you can extend it, you know, like you can now multiply with that exact same methodology 2-digit numbers together. It is a little tougher, but like, for example, you could do 17 times 17. And what's 17 times 17? It's 10 times, what, I mean, it's going to start, the commentary is going to be a little bad, but it's 10 times 7, plus 10 times 10, plus 7 times 7, plus 7 times 10. So I'm not going to do that math in my head, because it's like, you know, I'm also playing Isaac here, but you get the general gist of it. I remember that I did I've told this anecdote many times. I was kind of a smartass in some years of elementary school. I had like an even-odd pattern, like the San Francisco Giants throughout the 2010s. Like half of the school years, I'd be like, I'm a great student. And some of the years, I'd be like, I'm a good student, but I don't really feel like trying right now. But in 6th grade, you know, like, my teacher, you know, he's teaching the multiplication stuff again, and in order to get full marks, you got to show your work. And my dude was like, he called me out. He was a real jerk. This teacher eventually got fired from my school for embezzlement. So lest you think that, you know, it's just like, oh, you were just a kid, he was doing his job. Not to mention, you know, your boy was a teacher, you know? Not a good one necessarily, but if we already have a 100% deal, let's get some stats. Not a good one necessarily, but a teacher nonetheless. I got respect for the teaching profession. This guy was just I don't know, he was like one of the ego-tripping teachers that was just a real jerk about it. So, you know, one day, this isn't really that jerky, but he called me out in front of the whole class and was like, you know, why didn't you show your work on, you know, your multiplication homework? And I was like, well, I don't need to. I just do it in my head. And I guess maybe he thought I was cheating and using a calculator, which is obviously not allowed in the real world either. But so he was like, okay, what's, you know, 13 times 13? And I was like, well, 13 times 13 is very simple. That's, you know, 10. And now I'm like, I'm doing it while playing Isaac, and I'm like, I'm not as smart as I was when I was 12. But I was like, it's like 269. And he was like, okay, sit down. Let me check. That one was just off the top of the dome piece. Hold on. 13 times 13. It's 169. Sorry, my memory was off. And you can work backwards from that. You know, 169. So you got, basically it's 13 times 10 plus 13 times 3. So 13 times 10 is very easy. It's 130. And then, you know, 13 times 3 is just 39. 169. It's that easy. And he was like, okay, you can sit down. And it was, you know, ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. Well, now you can do 17 times 17. I mean, it's 17 times 10, which is 170. Plus 7 times 7, which is 49. It's 219. Is that correct? Let me see it. 17 times 17. 289. Like I said, lights out. I forgot a 10 times 7 somewhere in there, but cut me some slack. You know, I'm also playing Isaac here at the same time. I'm not trying to be that guy, you know, bouncing the golf ball off his putter and listing all the states in alphabetical order from the Flat Earth documentary, if you catch my drift. Now, let's go for it. Having done this, we will take, what do we got, alges? We will take this, and I think we'll suck up that. Very mission critical shot speed upgrade, much appreciated. And I mean, at the end of the day, it just comes down to your mental RAM, which you can, you know, teach yourself. At the end of the day, you don't need to really, you know, to succeed in this life, you don't have to be able to multiply 2-digit numbers in your head, but sometimes it can be, not useful, but, you know, you're doing back of the number calculations. You know what's helpful, actually, is, you know, a lot of adult mathematics is related to percentages, you know? You got, if you make, you know, this amount of money, you're in this effective tax bracket, and then, you know, you're like, okay, what's 19% of a 6-digit number, or a 5-digit number, or a 4-digit number? And you go, okay, well, I'll just multiply that by 19, and then divide it by 100. And that'll give you your 19% number. Even if you're off by a little bit. You know? Yeah, unless you're working as an accountant. You know, you really want to check the numbers for sure. But simultaneously, I'm throwing it out there that, you know, it can be a good, you know, estimator for you. Try it out for yourself. Or don't, because, you know, you're probably past that point. Or you're already at the point where you're, you know, multiplying 6-digit numbers together in your head. And you're like, you know what, NL, you know, this is a trick for middle school children. And it is. But I'll tell you. When my dad taught that trick to me, one day we were driving the 401. That's not a euphemism, that's a highway. I thought he was the smartest mathematician in the world. I was like, you can multiply 15 times 15 in your head? And he was like, yeah, it's 225. Is that correct? 15 times 15. It's just that easy. That's one I just remember. I can't act like I did that one on the fly, even though it would be unimpressive to do so. So this one, I want to be clear, this run is not in a bad spot. it's actually in a totally adequate spot that I'm rendering a little bit unnecessarily dangerous. Which is why I'm taking my time to blow these up, and they paid out very nicely. Much appreciated. Okay, take algaes. Just drop it off in here. Really, this is about fly generation, but I don't mind the cube of meat helping me out as well. This is honestly the kind of run I needed if we're going to be recording a lot of Isaac today. This is the kind of run I needed in order to keep my my morale high, you know, as we go into a long recording session prior to being away. I don't think we need any of these, and I know, you know, nobody dislikes Dark Bum. However, also, very hard to argue with the niceness of having gotten a 4 luck upgrade on the very first room of the chest. And I mean, this is overkill, but also kind of funny. If we doubled it one more time, we'd have like a whole hand. I'm not counting the thumb as a finger, okay? The thumb is elevated. It enables us it enables our hands to be greater than the sums of their parts. Yo, this is actually now an incredible run. I just wish there was like a meta to it where like the fact that I got marked on this run means that it can't show up for like 4 runs. I'm like, hey, I got over the marked punishment. Now never do it again, please. But I know marked. I mean, we're well past the point. You know, there were years where the you know, members of the Isaac community would be a little insulted or offended or upset with the way I characterized items. I understand. Marked was one of them. Marked is a tiers upgrade, so it is, you know. To say that it's worth nothing is not fair. On a lot of runs, it's maybe a warranted pickup. But now, those people have mellowed out or left to play something else. And as a result, I can say my true opinion without being lambasted. They hated him because he told the truth. I mean, none of these warrant doubling. They're just amazing to begin with. And this is a situation now where marked is like immediately good. Or, I mean, not immediately. We've had it for like 6 floors or longer, but anyway. Anyway, it was a very, very fun run. I appreciate it a great deal. Get me out of here. That's 2 wins in a row. It's a start. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It's a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!